I think we can all agree that one of the most common questions we ask ourselves is, how long do we have? How long do we have to keep working? How long do we have to save money? How long do we have to wait for that dream to come true? So wouldn't it be nice if there was some sort of formula, calculation, or a guide that would allow us to know the length of our life, or at least get an estimate? Well, there actually is.
Right.
And in this video, I want to talk about 7 signs that can predict how long you will live after 70. In addition to these 7 things, there are actually 10 other things that can impact your longevity, and I will talk about those in another video. So stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss that one. The science of longevity is backed by research, studies, and data, and I did my best to find the most reliable sources and combine them in this video. So what are these 7 things that can help you predict your longevity? Let's take a look at No. 1. Are you an optimist or a pessimist? A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology followed nearly 300 people. Over the age of 65 for 5 years, researchers found that those who had a more positive outlook on life were more likely to reach the age of 85 or older, regardless of their physical health or other risk factors. So how can you make sure that you are staying on the optimistic side? At first, you need to believe that good things are going to happen to you. It's not that bad things won't happen to you, because they probably will, but it's how you deal with them. You see the glass half empty or half full? Do you expect good things to happen to you? Or do you expect the opposite? Do you trust that whatever happens, you will be okay? If you don't feel like you're naturally an optimistic person, that's fine. Optimism is a habit that can be learned. One way to cultivate optimism is by keeping a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 new things you are grateful for. These can be big or small things, like a sunny day or a delicious meal. By focusing on the positive things in your life, you will train your brain to see the good in every situation. Another way to cultivate optimism is to use positive self-talk. This is the inner dialogue you have with yourself. For example, if you're facing a challenge, instead of saying, "Oh no, what am I going to do?" say, "This is an opportunity for me to grow and learn." Of course, it will take time and practice, but eventually it will become second nature. And when you do, you will add years to your life. No. 2. How connected are you? Connectedness is a measure of how close you feel to other people. People who feel connected to others are more likely to report being in good health, have better well-being, and even stronger immune systems. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that connectedness was associated with lower mortality rates. In fact, the study showed that people who had strong social connections were 50% more likely to survive. So what can you do to improve your connectedness? One thing that can help is volunteering. When you volunteer, you are helping others without expecting anything in return. This can be a great way to meet new people and build relationships. It can also give you a sense of purpose and belonging. Another thing that can help you connect with others is to join a club or group. This can be a book club, a sports club, a religious group, or any other kind of organization. The important thing is that you find a group of people who share your interests. When you find those people, you will have something to talk about, and you will be able to make new friends. The 3rd sign that can predict your longevity is your level of education. Studies have shown that people with higher levels of education tend to live longer than those with lower levels of education. This is probably due to a variety of factors, such as access to healthcare, knowledge about healthy behaviors, and the ability to read and understand health information. A study published in the American Journal of Public Health found that people with bachelor's degrees or higher were 11% less likely to die prematurely than those with only a high school diploma. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go back to school in order to add years to your life. What I am suggesting is that you continue to learn throughout your life. There are many ways to do this. You can read books, you can listen to podcasts, you can watch documentaries, you can also take classes either online or in person. The most important thing is that you keep your mind active and engaged. By doing so, you will keep your brain sharp, and you will reduce your risk of cognitive decline and dementia. No, for how physically active are you? The benefits of exercise are well documented. We all know that exercise is good for our physical and mental health, but did you know that it can also add years to your life? According to a study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, people who engage in regular physical activity have a lower risk of developing chronic diseases, such as heart disease, stroke, and cancer. These are the leading causes of death in developed countries. Therefore, Reducing your risk of developing these diseases can significantly increase your chances of living longer. The study found that people who engaged in at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity per week had a lower risk of all-cause mortality. Moderate intensity activities include brisk walking, cycling, and swimming. Vigorous intensity activities include running, jogging, and playing sports. So what can you do to add exercise to your routine? First, you need to find an activity that you enjoy doing. If you don't like running, don't force yourself to run. Find another activity that you enjoy, such as dancing or hiking. Second, start slowly and then increase the intensity and duration of your workouts gradually. Just don't try to do too much too soon. Listen to your body and rest when you need to. Third, find a workout buddy. Having someone to hold you accountable can help you stick to your fitness goals. Finally, make exercise a part of your daily routine. Just like you brush your teeth every day, you should also try to exercise every day. Make it a habit. 5. What's your waist measurement? Your waist measurement is a good indicator of your overall health. People with larger waists tend to have more body fat and are at increased risk for chronic diseases such as heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. All of these conditions can shorten your lifespan. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that people with larger waists had an increased risk of dying from any cause. The study controlled for factors such as age, sex, race, and smoking status. The researchers concluded that waist circumference is an independent predictor of mortality. So what can you do if you have a large waist? The first step is to see your doctor and get checked for risk factors for chronic diseases. If you have risk factors, your doctor may recommend lifestyle changes or medications to help you manage them. The second step is to make changes to your diet and exercise habits. As I mentioned earlier, eating a healthy diet and exercising regularly can help you reduce your risk of chronic diseases and increase your lifespan. The third step is to maintain a healthy weight. If you are overweight, losing even a small amount of weight can make a big difference in your overall health. The fourth step is to get regular checkups. By staying on top of your health, you can catch any potential problems early when they are easier to treat. 6. How is your mental health? Mental health is just as important as physical health when it comes to longevity. People with mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety are at increased risk of dying prematurely. A study published in the Journal of Affective Disorders found that people with major depressive disorder had a 2.5 times greater risk of dying from any cause compared to those without depression. Another study found that people with anxiety disorders had a 21% higher risk of dying from any cause compared to those without anxiety. What can you do if you are struggling with your mental health? The first thing you should do is seek professional help. The therapist can help you develop coping mechanisms to deal with your condition. They can also refer you to other resources such as support groups or medication management. In addition to seeking professional help, you should also take care of yourself. This means eating healthy, exercising, and getting enough sleep. It also means avoiding alcohol and drugs, as they can worsen your symptoms. Finally, reach out to your loved ones for support. Don't be afraid to open up to them about what you're going through. They can offer emotional support and practical help. 7. Do you smoke? This one might seem like a no-brainer, but it's worth mentioning. Smoking is one of the leading causes of preventable death in the United States. It's responsible for more than 480,000 deaths each year. Smoking damages nearly every organ in the body, and it increases your risk of developing chronic diseases such as heart disease, stroke, lung disease, and cancer. In fact, smokers die on average 10 years earlier than non-smokers. So if you're currently a smoker, I urge you to quit. There are many resources available to help you quit, including nicotine replacement therapy, medications, and counseling. You can also join a support group. There are 10 other things that can impact your longevity, such as your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, body mass index, and more. To learn about them, please watch the next video. I will see you there.